gentlemen, welcome back to the Airing It Out podcast live. I am Dustin Marion. He is Hollow Clutch. Welcome back to the new year, 2021. And it's already starting out hot. What's up, Hollow?
What's going on, Dustin? It feels like a new year, but not really. It's like
Yes.
it's starting all over again, and it's just wild. Like, I was talking to a couple of my friends the other day, and it's like, in 3 weeks, Kobe died a year ago.
Wow. Yeah,
when you put it into perspective, like, holy shit. Like, coronavirus kind of put it like under wraps.
Some guy sent me a meme of a shirt that said 2020 or 2021 said to 2020, hold my beer. Like, it's probably going to be even more hotter now. And it didn't disappoint right out the gates. What was it? 5 days in,
Yep.
We basically get another riot at Capitol Hill.
Excuse me. Yep.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's insane how I saw a lot of people out there trying to compare it to the Black Lives Matter protests and white privilege and all this nonsense, and I'm like, they did, like, the Democrats kind of they didn't want a lot of police presence anymore during protests. So, like, when this was going down, I'm pretty sure that intelligence agencies got a hold of it from Facebook meetings and Twitter and Instagram. I'm pretty sure they got that all blanketed and covered. And they still didn't put enough police presence. Like, if you watch some of the videos,
there was way more people than there was cops.
Yeah, and then the Capitol Police let them in to the front steps anyway. So there's a lot of fuckery going around that people are not talking about, and it looked like a movie.
That's crazy.
It reminded me of The Dark Knight when Bane went to the steps with the people of Gotham. It was just like, yo, we holding this down. It was like that.
Let me see if I can do it. And Harvey Dent, right? Some shit like that, right?
That's what it was. It was crazy.
Fuck. Now, look, let's backpedal a little bit, right? Because I've been arguing with my wife a little bit. Listen, whether there was police presence or not, it did not seem that they used the same kind of violence right out the gate that they would have used at potentially, let's say, a BLM protest.
I agree.
Right? Plus, from what I've read and seen and heard, I did a little research, not too much, but a little bit. There was people at the place holding like weapons. Okay, like they had gats on them, they had guns on them. I felt like that was kind of like a little bit more slide under the rug, because if anybody shows up with guns at a BLM protest, it's a wrap.
For
like
sure.
Right out the gate. I mean, dudes are showing up in like the turtle outfits and tear gas, rubber bullets, and all that stuff. I mean, I think towards the end of the protest, it started to become more violent, right? Because
BLM would have never got on the steps.
To the steps, correct.
Let's just put it like
yeah. That's the argument, right? First of all, systemic racism based on that is prevalent in America.
Yes.
Because if you have a bunch of white boys storming, you got a bunch of black dudes storming, they're both going to be greeted differently. That's crazy.
They were saying if you want to get gun control laws passed, have black people go file for gun permits.
Right.
Because then the laws would change like that.
Right. I just got back, bro, in Texas. Like, you should see some of the signs and banners. I'm sure you've seen them too. It was like Trump, God, and gun.
For sure. Trump was like the leader of it. He did a rally in the park where they met up.
Well, they were calling it the domestic terrorism. What do you think about that? You think that's a lot?
Of course. I think no. I think it's not enough. I think it's treasonous. I think anybody who stepped on federal thing and either stole anything or destroyed any federal stuff should have been arrested and should be going to jail for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever it is. Because let's keep it a stack. If people from a real terrorist, if Al Qaeda came to America,
right,
and 100,000 droves, and they took over the Capitol building, or were attempting to take over the Capitol building,
they would have nuked that shit.
They would have shot all of them. All of them. So either terrorist, domestic terrorist, or foreign terrorist, you're still a fucking terrorist.
Right, yes.
No matter what. And supposedly there was pictures of guys with 2 pipe bombs they found in some of the offices. and then they had people with zip ties that they were ready to take hostages.
That would have been bananas if that shit went down like
So
that.
that's why, like, Shorty thought she was cool, about to jump through the window and got shot.
Right.
The police was doing their job. They were protecting
Right.
the people of Congress. You had to do that. You had to protect the senators. You just.
I'm surprised that because I know usually the Secret Service focuses on the president, right?
Mhm.
I was surprised that these guys don't have like their own security teams. Like they got caught so down with their pants down that I was kind of shocked. I was like, where was the response? Like the police showed up mad late.
Ben Shapiro said it. He said it best. He said if any foreign nation that was against America just seen if they just seen what 100,000 people did or 10,000 people just did, they must be kicking themselves in the ass because look how easy they were to go into the federal building.
But this is the thing, right? And this is where the racism thing comes into question, right? When you're a man or a woman of color, you raise security issues, right? Like no one's freaking out because 10,000 white people show up. 5 black guys show up, and the old lady next door is like, there's a suspicious guy in my yard. I don't know. And homeboy probably lives next door, and he had to like get a baseball because it fell over the or his basketball because it went over the fence. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, where are we at? Like, listen, I understand everything, and I'm trying to be sympathetic to both sides, but one side gets treated or handled way different than the other side. Like, dude, as soon as they started kicking down those barriers and started heading to the Capitol building, that shit should have been 911 immediately. They should have had like choppers showing up. I mean, where was DCPD?
Well, I think I said it a little earlier. I was talking to a couple of my friends because they were saying the same thing you're saying. Mm-hmm. The Democrats hold something here as well, because they didn't want a large police presence at the Capitol or in DC while protests were going on because of the Black Lives Matter and other protests that were going on. That they saw that too much police presence, too many people being arrested, too many people being hurt. So they play a hand in this as well in saying we don't want a lot of police presence to stop any type of protest, but then it backfired on them because they didn't have any. Not enough.
Right. It was interesting because it almost like the way you're describing it, it was like a perfect storm. Yep. Dems say, hey, let's get a lighter police presence. Apparently it seemed like this was orchestrated before. It wasn't like they decided.
For sure.
Then you get Donald up there saying, we're great. Everything's great.
I'm going to march with you. He literally said that in his speech at the park. Said, all right, we're going to go to the Capitol building right now and we're going to march together and I'm marching with you, which he didn't do.
Right. I was going to say, what was that? By the way, rewind the tape. Homeboy is literally the same dude that tear gassed crowds just to go to get himself either evacuated or I think head to a church or some shit like that.
He went across the street from the White House or the Capitol, but to the church to hold the Bible upside down anyway for a picture.
Right. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So obviously his team is or the people that that enjoy his policy on their behalf. It was just a failure. So now, based on him potentially inciting a riot, inciting domestic terrorism, should he be impeached or should they invoke the 25th Amendment to remove him of power?
The issue with invoking the 25th Amendment is going to take 2 weeks anyway, and he already only has 2 weeks. So by the time they get everybody together, go through the proceedings, go through all the things, because we have checks and balances that actually work. Like, people make it seem like Donald Trump was doing whatever the fuck he wanted, and he really didn't do whatever he wanted. He passed one piece of legislation, and that was just the tax bill. Like, for the most part, that was it. Like, that's his legacy in the office. And people are starting to see that tax bill being bullshit coming into fruition now, where it was like, when I said it at the time when he did pass it, it said in year 2021, it's going to start going away. It's going to go up a little bit. 2023 is going to go up away. 2027 is going to go away for the citizen, but it was going to stay for the corporations. So that's what's happening now. Little by little, the taxes are going to roll back for the citizen.
For the Joe.
But people were excited. Oh, shit, I got $100 more on my check. Like, you're not seeing the long game. You're just seeing right here and right now. and it backfired, and it's going to backfire on people right now, especially that the pandemic hit too, and no president, I don't care what president would have been ready for this.
Yes, I agree. I think that it was unprecedented. I think that what people argue the most about is just his response to it, right? And then just being like tongue in cheek with some of the things that he was saying. Because in press conferences, you're telling me that you support the VA, but supporting the VA has jack shit to do with how you're handling the status of COVID. Um, so going a little forward, is Trump's legacy tarnished because he didn't throw in the towel? I think we talked about this the last show, but I wanted to see now with this pretty much as his last like punctuation. Does his presidency look flawed? I mean, a lot of people would say yeah, but is this the end all be all? Like, was it a complete joke?
I think it was a complete joke on the United States as a whole, people as a whole. Like, I get you want to stick it to the system and you want to change the status quo because stuff hasn't been changed, but going about picking somebody because you thought it was a lesser evil, I think people could look back now and see that wasn't the right approach to the situation. Like, I get Hillary was, she had some baggage, but I think looking back, she wasn't the lesser of two evils. He was.
Right.
Looking back at it,
Do we still think that he was the lesser of two evils?
I don't think she would have had the country divided.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I think that she would have probably been a better choice, even though she was corrupted.
And I
Everybody
think she would have made a good president, but she was a bad candidate.
right. Well, she was also hot in the streets too, right? Like she was wiretapping guys. She was, fucking up emails apparently.
Mhm.
But I thought that that's the whole process, right? Like, isn't that? I'm not gonna say that's government, but watching all of these like conspiracy films and movies and watching shows about the CIA and the FBI and the way senators and governors make laws and pay for guys to buy into laws.
Yep.
It just seems like that's part of the process. So again, I think we get mad at Donald Trump for being a successful businessman, even though in that same term, he wasn't successful in the sense of how people value success because they immediately say, oh, well, he was bankrupt. But Homeboy's name has still been strong in the streets for a very long time. Same thing with Hill. Hill is understand the process. I mean, she was a senator for New York City.
Mm-hmm.
She was on Obama's council. I think as Secretary of State, like her shit is not weak sauce,
I just think you have the stigma of the Clinton Foundation. They
right.
They try to hold her husband accountable just because she's running. I just think that the system in general needs a big kind of revamp. In my opinion, you need to have. I think 4 years is too short. First of all, I think it should be either 5 or 6, because you spend a year of learning what is actually it takes to be a president, and then the last of the year, the 4th year, the last half of it, you already know you're on your way out, or you're running again.
There's not enough time to make change. Basically, is what you're saying.
It's tough because you still have it's hard to convince people to like you when you're running and half of them already don't like you, or half of them are already against you.
Right.
And I think our campaign cycle is too long. That's one thing I do like about Europe's system. It's only 6 weeks.
That they get a chance to promote their guy.
So
that's
July 1st is campaign. September whatever 1st is you get to vote. It's no a year and a half of campaigning, year and a half of trying to go to every state, year and a half of trying to do everything to try to get everybody to vote for you. And another thing that they do pretty well in Europe is that you're allowed to gamble in every state, on every city, on who's going to be president. So think of it in sports terminology. I'm sorry.
You'll go to Vegas and shit and bet on candidates.
Correct. So you could bet in New York. You'll bet on the mayor. You'll bet on the city council member 97, AG of New York. The reason why you would it incentivizes people to go and gamble on these things because you go and learn them.
So, just like football,
just like basketball. All right, now I'm gonna go pick. I'm gonna go pick the Lakers to beat the Clippers. So LeBron is playing tonight. LeBron's average is this. AD averages this. Blah 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 averages this. Now, if you say, all right, I'm going to go and I'm going to vote for the AG of New York State. Now you're gonna go and look at their record. Oh, okay. he or she did a lot for the minority community, or he or she didn't do shit for the minority community. You're gonna go do your research because it's gonna affect you individually. Oh, this person took $100 million in lobbyist donations. Oh, why did they take $100 million in lobbyist donations? That's interesting. Oh, they got it the last time they were elected 10 years ago, and they're still running again, and they're still in there for another 5 years. Oh, their net worth was 150,000 when they got in. Now it's 45 million.
Right.
What's going on here? Like, those things can get people on board with trying to understand government more, because people don't know who their comptroller is. People don't even know who the district leader is.
Right. No shit.
It's stuff like that you can.
Well, I think that's what they're taking advantage of the people, right? Because the people don't know shit. But, and I say that, you know, with a broad stroke. I'm not saying all, but a lot of people. I mean, even me, I just started learning about who's homeboy over here and who's the senator of this, and you know, all of the players that are in the building. Because for the most part, it just seems like we focus on just the president, right? And even on that, we don't get like all the data.
Exactly.
We only collect the data if it's negative.
Exactly.
Right. We don't collect any of the good data.
And we need to stop stigmatizing or getting mad at somebody for changing their mind when they receive new information. Like, people, like, before 2013 or 2012, Obama was still against gay marriage.
So was Clinton. Hillary.
Hillary was still, you know, like, but now they see, all right, this is affecting people in a negative manner. You know what? I roll it back. People should love whoever they wanted. Now, again, with the scientific thing, anything, even the stuff going on with COVID, cloth masks don't work.
Right.
The data shows cloth masks don't work. You need an N95 mask for it to be, you know, safe.
100% foolproof.
Exactly. Cities that have lockdown have the highest infection rate and one of the highest deaths. They have the harshest lockdown, which is Cali and New York. Florida and Texas, they Gucci. They have high cases, but they're low death rate. But what I'm saying is, once you get new information, you should be able to distribute that to everybody in a way that you're not trying to trick them and have them make an educated decision, as opposed to forcing people to not work, to not go make a living. We've said this before. It still astonishes me that all these things are up. You know, we've said it, I don't know how many times now. Child abuse, domestic violence, suicides, children, just the brain development for going to school, not being stuck in fucking front of screens, not being able to talk to or play with other kids. Like, I'm lucky because I have 2 girls, so they could able to play with each other.
Yeah, I think the families that have multiple kids are okay, but all those single kids, it's tough.
It is tough, and we're not going by the data. We're not going by the data. Under 100 kids died from under the age of 18. We're not going by that data. We're locking down schools. We're scaring everybody. We're not telling them to take vitamin D, zinc, all these things that protect the immune system and boost the immune system. We're not doing that. We keep scaring them.
Not even anything health related. Like, go take a walk outside. Go. You know,
stay inside.
Do something. You know, I agree. That's been a narrative that's been pushed to the side. The only 2 things, according to them, that works is social distancing, right, and mask. That's it.
That's all they want to push out.
Vitamins, minerals, sunlight, walks, exercise, and none of that stuff has been pushed as a narrative.
And I think that's where, like, I think if you had the sad thing to me is when it comes to Trump and it comes to our justice system or our government, is that really, really smart people don't want to do those jobs.
Right. Well, that was another thing I wanted to bring up to you, and we'll slide off really quickly. First of all, it's a lot of pressure because people don't want their dirty laundry out there. But I think that Andrew Yang, now running for
Mayor, I think New York.
I think that's going to start to set a trend, maybe, and some of these guys might be more interested to start to do that, right? Because that's the problem. We complain. But bro, I've never seen so many, and this is I'm not a senior citizen hater, but I've never seen so many senior citizens in charge of shit that they're out of touch with. I'm sorry, if you're 65 You have no idea what it's like to be bullied because you're gay. You kind of have less of an idea of mixed or blended marriages or blended families. Like you're out of touch. You're out of touch, dog. Sorry. You know what? We need a 30-year-old in here. We need a bunch of 20-year-olds. We need dudes who know how to fucking work social media. We need people smart and cunning and a little bit more grounded. But we have we literally have our grandmas and grandpas running this nation potentially into the ground.
And the issue is that you got people like unrelated. This is like Kevin Hart.
Okay.
He had tweets from 10 years ago pop up.
Right.
Like, why are 10-year-old tweets affecting this person that's happening right here, right now? So now you have, if I was 18 and I wrote something stupid on Twitter or Instagram, or whatever the case may be, and I'm 30, 40, and I have a new perspective on life. If you think that that person who's 40 is the same person who's 18, you're a fucking idiot. And that's the issue.
Do you think now, right, if you're coming up in the ranks, and this is crazy because now you got to like vet yourself. Do you think that you got to like every 10 years say a statement like, yo, I'm a little bit more mature now. I might have said some shit in the past. My bad. Just to kind of cover you. Because if you said something crazy, you don't even know. I mean, I think you and I are in a little bit of a different space because we're kind of like being ushered into the cancel culture and all that stuff about being aware and being accountable for what you say. Where 10 years ago, maybe that wasn't the case, right? And you had people coming up and blowing up and trying to say things. I mean, this is the thing, though. How come Kevin Hart, right, can talk or say something crazy like, I would not talk to my son anymore if he was gay, right? But yet, David Chappelle could go ham on the alphabet community and receive literally no flack about it.
Well, from woke people, he got backlash from woke people, but that's small. But like, even when Kevin Hart did it, he was joking in that tweet.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's a fucking joke. It was a joke.
So like
now you can't joke about shit.
Because when Dave Chappelle did his thing, Rotten Tomatoes gave him a 0. Like
what?
Yeah, like a bad rating for it. So like those woke.
So then he did get a little bit backlash.
Yeah,
I just
for sure. But then when he came and won the Emmy, he said, "Oh fuck you guys, I won an Emmy."
He won an Emmy for that shit? Wow. Damn. Shit is different in the world.
So I just think, like you know who scares me? Not scares me, but who could win? Donald Trump Jr., his son. He has more. He has more of a better speech coming across.
Right. He's more politically correct.
But he could take the rhetoric from his pops and do it in a more intelligent way.
Right.
And be able to run in 2024.
So now let's reel it back a little bit because we were talking about 5 years, 6 years, and all these types of things. And depending on when you're coming in, if you're Obama, you're like 2 years cleaning up George Bush's shit, and then by the time you try to implement some of your shit, you got a Tea Party that shows up, right? Mm-hmm. Same kind of thing that's happened to a bunch of the different presidents. So now it's been the first time in 10 years that we have a Congress is majority Democratic, the Senate is majority Democratic, and we have a Democratic president. Do you think that is going to provide some cohesion in taking this nation to new levels in the sense of lawmaking, in the sense of handling COVID, in the sense of some of the things that are going to be trying to help the people moving forward?
It sounds like a great thing. I'm just scared that they're going to try to alienate Republicans or any other party that eventually is going to come along. Because I do feel like there's going to be other parties because with more technology and, more smarter people, they're going to be like, I am, whatever, tech something.
I'm green. Yeah,
whatever
exactly.
The case may be. That it's going to... Because for the most part, minorities think that Democrats are the
savior.
Savior. And there's been instances where they haven't. Actually been the opposite.
Correct.
So I'm just worried that people are going to be like, all right, the Democrats did this correctly for, let's say, 3 to 4 years or 8 years. Let's say they do win back to back. And then the repercussions of what they're doing they'll do something fucked up. And it'll be like, all right, now Republicans are going to do something for 8 or 10 years or whatever the other party is going to be, where they're going to say, we need to, come in and take over kind of thing.
Right.
and then it's gonna be a seesaw of tribe and tribe and tribe and tribe. And I don't like that system. I think the way it should have been how it was before, where if the Democrat won presidency, the Republican was vice president. So you always have two
Yeah, I
people
thought that
on
was.
opposite
I've
ends of
heard
the
that.
aisle,
I thought that was great.
and it should always be
It's a
that way.
balance. It's a kind of a balance.
Correct. So now you don't have a balance anymore. There's like
Oh,
everything's
like
just gonna be
one side.
lopsided.
Yeah.
You know, like you got these people who are like, if you make 300,000, you're gonna get taxed more. You're gonna make 400,000, you're gonna get taxed more. You're gonna make $1 million, you're gonna get taxed more. And I just don't like you taxing the rich people, thinking that you're gonna make up or recoup money. Isn't the way it's gonna work anyway? Because if you are a millionaire or multi-millionaire, you already know how the tax system works. So you're not paying
Donald Trump,
$60
$750 for the year.
exactly, because you know how to work the tax system. But
Right.
again, we spoke about this before too.
Uh-huh.
If you learn the tax system, you can do what
Right.
Donald Trump was doing,
Facts.
or any other wealthy person.
Yes.
So it does. It now it's time. I could say though, it's time to deliver on some of these promises. It's just gonna be a little, like I said, it's scary if they pass a lot of wild shit. Because look at the COVID relief bill. Why are we sending money to Iran or Israel or any foreign aid? Why are we giving any money to any foreign country? Period. Why are we sneaking that into a COVID relief bill? Why are we trying to make it a felony to arrest somebody for streaming content? Like, why is that in the COVID relief bill? So it's a dirty game. The Democrats let that shit slide in too.
Bro, it was the same thing that they did when they first signed that first whatever $1 trillion shit. They're giving money to the Kennedy, museum or whatever the fuck, and then they lay off half the staff. It's like, bro, people are dying. We don't really need a museum right now. Like, I get it that you're trying to preserve art and some of that stuff, but right now we need to bail people out, because even moving forward to this situation, if you're saying that they're sneaking in that stuff to give money to foreign nations, bro, $600 doesn't do jack shit for me. Jack shit. And then you got Mitch McConnell, sitting in his fucking mansion saying, well, you can't get 2,000. Bro, what the fuck are you talking about? You're literally going to get the money back. We don't even hold it that long. I give it to you because I got to go pay my landlord. I got to go buy groceries.
How about it's already spent?
Done. Yes, we talked about that too. It's done. The moment I got it, I'm minus. Right? Because I'm behind.
Yeah, $600 is not going to do anything. Like,
so
nothing. Even 2,000 is not going to do anything.
That's 1 month of rent, bro. That's it. That's not even your grocery shit.
Exactly.
Most folks, I've done the check. Either if there's a couple, live anywhere from $1,500 a month to $2,200 a month. That's just rent, bro. What the fuck am I doing with $2,000? If I'm at the $2,200 mark, I'm still short $200.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, granted, looking at it a little closer with bifocals, sure, the $300 weekly helps out. But when you look at, let's say, Canada and some of these other nations, they basically gave $3,000 a month to people until it got settled.
Yep.
And then people got on their feet again.
Yep.
Right? I don't know why the agenda from the Republican aisle is that all of a sudden, you're going to give out free money, apparently, because that's what people keep calling it, free money. And like, we're going to either be rich or never want to work again. That doesn't even make any sense. That doesn't make any sense, because at the money you're giving me, that's not enough. That's not enough. Even $3,000, I'm popped.
You're right.
Gives me the rent, $500 for food, $500 for utilities. I mean, there's nothing. You would have to get $10,000 a month to be bought.
If that, you're probably caught up with 10,000.
Right.
You're caught up, because I'm pretty sure people have used their credit card to buy groceries. Have used their credit cards for whatever the case may be. Take out bad personal loans at 30% interest. I'm pretty sure. Like, you've gotten a lot of that. All over the place.
Bro, there's people that probably still are file extensions for rental assistance because they probably haven't paid rent for God knows how many months.
Yep.
So if you're at $12,000 that you owe, what I'm gonna do with $2,000? What I'm gonna do with that?
Mm-hmm.
Now $600, I'm fucked.
Yep.
I'm fucked.
And then you're gonna have all those people who have the student loan debt, who are probably gonna get taxed on that money anyway, or get stipend from whatever new job they get anyway. It's a lot of nonsense things that we need to do to help our citizens that we're not doing. And I think just the number one thing we need to do is fucking be honest with COVID. Just fucking be honest. It is not as deadly as we thought it was going to be. Open up everything.
Bro, it's
That's
crazy.
it.
I live in Mother Cali. I can't get a job, doc. Everything's closed. Everything's closed.
It's
And
insane.
meanwhile, back at the ranch, it's the malls are open. I could ball out at motherfucking Amazon. What happened? How am I supposed to do that? The holidays came, and think about that. Even if forget about your bills, what if you spent a little something for your fam, bro? $600 doesn't even recoup that.
Yep.
But yet, it was okay to have a Black Friday fucking deal and sale. It was okay to have a Cyber Monday sale. I mean, like if you go on the internet right now, bro, there's sales.
Of course.
Literally, they want you to buy shit. Why are we buying shit? I don't have no like. And then you're teasing me. You know what I mean? You're gonna tell me that the LeBrons, 15s or whatever number they're at.
Yep.
It's like, hey, bro, it's usually $200, but today if you act now, $150. Who's not gonna jump all over that?
Exactly.
Do you know you can't buy a LeBron James sneaker right now on the net at all? It's going on the secondary market for twice as much. And I'm not saying that, to feel better, you need to buy a pair of kicks, but it's just crazy how they keep on like dangling this carrot. Like capitalism right now is showing its ugly face, and it's almost borderlining dangerous on how people are. Even with the thing with the PlayStation, right? You were allowing cats to buy 100 copies of that shit
and then sell it.
And then and now you take the whole thing. It went from regular $400 that's affordable. I can't cop one for less than $800, $1,200. Come on, bro.
Exactly. And you have people who are gonna go use a stimulus check and go buy that anyway.
Facts.
Like they're not gonna use it to catch up on bills anyway. They're gonna go buy some nonsense.
Well, the thing is too, bro, is like we're fucking depressed, right? Like,
Yep.
what else you gonna do? At least you could escape with a game. I mean, God thank God that they at least, whether it's good or bad, and we'll get back to it on the show later. But at least they released Wonder Woman on a streaming thing, right?
Yep.
Like that was something, because movies are gone. Right? We can't even go to the fucking movie theater. I can't even watch something to be like, damn, I'm stressed out. Shorty's mad at me. The kids this, whatever. I just want to take everybody to the family. Bang. Can't do that.
Nope.
We got to stay in the house.
Yep. And
Now, go ahead.
Again, we'll switch topics here in a second.
I know it's brutal.
I just think that it just sucks that, and I have these debates and discussions with my groups of friends all the time, and it's just open everything up. If you're high risk, or you have family members who are high risk, you have to be responsible to not put those people in harm's way.
Right. Agreed.
If you live with your mom and dad who are in their 60s, don't be a dick and go to a bar, go out, meet a random person, then to come back home and you might have a chance to give your parents something. Like,
I agree.
We just got to be more responsible, and I'll leave it at that.
No, I couldn't agree more, bro. And like I said, I'm sure this is not going to be the last time we bring this up, but it's really sad where we're at. I'm hoping something comes out of this, but this is rough, bro. And like I said, being in California, it's crazy, man. Like the whole Southern California is on lockdown, and it's brutal. And when you look to other nations, like you said, we don't even need to look at other nations. When you look at Texas and Florida and how they're managing it, it's like, look, you're gonna contract it. Let's speed up. I don't want to say speed up that process, but if the people that are gonna get affected, let them get affected, and let's work through that versus keeping everybody indoors and probably lowering their immune system by not being around people, by not going outside. Right?
What scares me with that too is like, the government is going to say, well, you're not mandated to get the vaccine. But what's going to be the scary part is, oh, you want to fly? Where's your vaccine card?
Well, that's crazy, cuz the one that blows my mind more, and we'll leave it off this, if jobs start to do that shit. That would
I could see that happening.
Facts, bro. That's the beginning of socialism. That's the beginning of fascism.
Yep.
And now you're saying, bro, if you don't get this, you can't work for us.
And I could see that happening.
I could totally see it. And that's why your homeboy, we need to step up our podcast game, because I'm not going back to work. Fuck that. I'd rather get something, somebody giving me some dollars for talking shit than having to go through that, because that's brutal, bro. And I've already had some people, and there's been reports. I know that's not 100%, but it looks like there seems to be a little bit more negative respond to the vaccine than there has been positive. Like people are, facing Bell palsy. Some people are still catching it. Like it's not foolproof, but it's dangerous if they start to implement that as a standard, which with the Democrats, I could definitely see them trying to pull.
Oh, you want to go? You want to start driving now? You got to renew your license.
Yeah.
Where's
your COVID?
Where's your vaccine card? You want to go to Disney World? Where's your vaccine card? You want to go here? You want to go see the football game? Where's your vaccine card?
Fuck. I need to go right now and buy probably like a 90-inch TV because I'm never leaving my house.
You want to go to the supermarket? Oh, sir, where's your vaccine card?
Shit. Thank God for fucking Instacart and all that other shit.
It could be there too, though. Like, your delivery person's coming to you.
Pizza is gonna be like, yo, pa, I can't send you the Domino's.
Where's your vaccine? Like, it's a possibility.
Yeah, it's a dangerous possibility at that, which is scary. Yes.
And it's gonna be like, what's the alternative? You gotta leave the food on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Like.
Right. By the way, that's so fucking gross. Every time I order,
I hate when they do that.
On the fucking floor. The only thing I gotta say is like some genius figured out that they got like another box that they put the box and then the food on it. But I'm like, yo, pa, there's ants, there's roaches, there's all types of shit. You put in my hot pizza on the floor. First of all, it's gonna turn my shit cold. What the fuck you doing?
And then have you seen the Uber Eats drivers and the
what's up with
the DoorDash drivers? Like,
what they going?
I don't know. I think some of them are staged, but I think some of them are true. They're like talking to people through the ring bell because you know how you have the camera system. Talk about, yo, like, sir, we drove like 30 minutes to get here. You gave me a $3 tip, fam. We need more money.
Wow.
They're starting to do that now. You got a couple of those people, and they're stepping out of bounds, but I can't blame them either. Like,
but this is the thing too. So look, let me ask you a question, and then we'll go into this because it'll bring us to New York. And maybe this might make me sound like an asshole. When you get into a yellow cab, or a regular cab, right, in New York City, do you tip?
Not really.
Right. I don't know when the fuck things changed. Right. When I was growing up, we never tipped. Right? Because these guys, I don't even know. I mean, when it's a meter, at least like the meter, because they're charging me X amount of dollars per mile. When you get the non-marked vehicles, homeboy could be pulling out numbers out his ass.
Exactly.
So I'm thinking like he already included the tip. So if he tells me 20, he put the tip in there, I give it to him. But I never thought about that. I come out to California, motherfuckers tip everybody. And I'm not against it because I was a tipped employee, but I thought tips were, regulated or given to bartenders, servers, doormen, right? Like people that are actually giving that extra step of service. My man, your job is to drive cabs. I never heard in a million years there was tips, right? So now bringing back that into the conversation we're talking about right now, when the fuck did I have to tip Uber drivers? Right? Like you're making me feel like an asshole because I didn't give you a tip. Bro, I didn't tell you to get this job. No offense.
Yeah.
Right? Like I started to have a thing with the Uber drivers because I was like, bro, you just got hired as an independent contractor. When you're hired as an independent contractor, that's a totally different game. Now you want that, plus you want a tip, plus you want medical. Now we got to deal with homie like ransoming my California burrito because I gave him $2. Exactly. And now he wants 10 because he drove 10 more miles to come and see me. Like what in the fuck?
It's
I got to look into that story more. That sounds comedy, bro. Even if it is staged or not. Like that's crazy that homebody be like, you know what? Nah, we good. I'll cancel the trip. Right? So you don't pay me the money, but now you don't get your food. So now you waited 35 minutes for food. You got to put that whole order again and cross your fingers. You potentially don't deal with another dude.
Exactly. Or let's say that's one of the things you could think about. Like, let's say your guy's Kevin and he drops your order off. And then he's a guy who's in the area and he noticed you didn't tip him one time. You didn't tip him the second time.
Damn,
now the third time comes around, it's like, oh wait, there's a little crack in this. Yeah, these motherfuckers don't pay me they don't give me nothing extra, and they can fuck with your food.
This is the thing too, like, and it sucks because this was something that was made by some kids that were trying to create and make things better, right? But it's also fucking us up too now, where now you're creating like this system where it's automatically assumed that things go that way, right? And now, like, I was upset that you have delivery guys who have never been in the service industry. The same thing about Uber and Lyft as a driver. Like, do you have a limousine license? Do you even know? Like, when I used to drive for Uber, bro, I would get out of the car. I would greet my passenger. If they had luggage, I would put it in the trunk. I never expected anything, but I thought that that's how you would do it, right?
Yeah.
You know, now you show up, homeboys like looking at you like, you want me to open the trunk? My man, the trunk's open. Go do something, right? Like it's just crazy. I think that Uber and Lyft, they're gonna see their demise sooner rather than later.
I think like if you are expecting, let's say if you are expecting a tip, let's say for the conversation, if you're expecting a tip, then they should do what you were doing. You got out the car, say, hey,
Yeah.
how you do? Hey, what's up going on? How you doing, Karen? My name's Lewis. Get it? Blah blah.
Yep.
Do you know,
Right.
and you do have some of those guys or some of those girls.
Yeah.
You have the
Yeah,
ones
they
who
got
have the
bottled
water.
Yeah, they got the
Exactly.
candies, they got all the chargers, but out of 10 rides, that's probably one guy,
Exactly.
right?
And then you
Oh,
get
you thought
mad.
because
Or
yeah.
even say the people who are delivering the food. Then you got they didn't check your order, or
Right.
they didn't
Right,
they
get the
didn't
right
bring napkins.
They didn't bring condiments. You didn't give me the straws. So now what I gotta write you down? Fucking itinerary about what you're supposed to do? I mean, shit for that. I just get in the car myself and drive there myself,
Exactly.
right? Because to me, that doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense to have that shit happen. So speaking about NY, right?
Mhm.
And COVID and all this stuff. So KD, has it been confirmed? He got COVID, right?
I think he was in the vicinity of people who have it, so it's like contract tracing. So even if you didn't get it, they just being
They put you on the list.
precautionary just
Uh-huh.
in case. Because
So now put on that list. They sit you for a whole 2 weeks.
they
Like
sit
this
you
test
until
prior?
you got to pass, I think 5 or 6 straight negative tests. You got to have, and it's the one that you fucking spit your fucking guts out that goes in the back of your brain, not the quick.
Not the swab. They got a new test now.
Well, they have the one I got was that they stick the whole shit in your fucking brain.
Right, into your eye.
Yeah, and you fucking
And rub
cough
your
and
eye.
spit everything out,
That shit is
and
horrible.
they do that test, and then that has to come back negative 6 times in a row.
So where's he at? Do we know? 4 or
That, I don't
5?
know. I'm pretty sure he's on 4 or 5.
Ball? Is he playing ball
He's
again?
not back yet.
Right.
I
So he's
believe.
probably hasn't passed it yet.
Exactly. Or it's still coming back negative, but they're not enough of negative tests.
All right. So I was thinking about this because I know we always talk about the ESPNs of the world, the CBS Sports, and all these other dudes, and the 3 guys I love to talk about the 3 topics: Dallas,
Tom
Brady,
Brady.
and LeBron James. I because of that, I always want to go above and beyond. So I was thinking about bringing somebody else into the light. So now I was thinking about Kevin Durant and his legacy and what he's been doing. At this point, how do you feel about? I mean, he won 1 title, right? He's been in the 10 years,
He went 3 times,
right? With
and
Golden State.
Golden State. Wait, he went 4 times. Sorry, he went 4 times. He lost one with OKC in 2012, won 2 with Golden State, and then I don't really count the last one.
He got injured, didn't he?
He was
had
injured.
that great fadeaway jump shot, and then he fucked up his Achilles or something like that, and then he was done.
Yeah. So he's 2-2 technically. Like if you want to.
So we'll throw him a thing.
So,
okay, 2-2. Is he elite? Is he an elite player? Is he a LeBron
no, for sure.
Curry player?
Yes, I just think he was. People don't like to differentiate. He was kind of handicapped by Russell Westbrook.
Sure, I could agree.
And people don't like to bring that up when he's an efficient scorer, and then you have a point guard who's controlling the ball almost the whole time and making bad decisions with the ball, and that has been proven time after time after time after time with Westbrook.
Correct. Do you think that it was a demise him even being on the Thunder when you potentially had I'm not going to consider Durant the ball hog, but you had 2 other ball hog because your other man was in the building too. The beard.
Well, and James Harden wasn't what he is in Houston.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
he
was kind of like a quasi point guard. Like he played his role, 6 man off the bench, cook. But his stigma, James Harden's stigma, is always stood with him because he disappeared in the final.
Yeah, that guy can't fucking
whatever the playoffs.
The playoffs, he just my man just leaves the building.
But sticking to KD,
right?
He's a phenomenal talent and top 10, maybe top 15 player of all time.
Wow. So even with the injuries, you still quantify him that up there.
You have a 7-footer who could cross you over like Iverson, who could shoot the ball like Steph Curry, and who could dunk like LeBron James. Like you have that tool in one guy who shoots 90% from the free throw line. he has the whole package, and his because he's a slender guy. People
Right.
kind of take advantage or try to slight him for playing defense,
Mhm.
and he's a good defender. Is he a
Is
great?
he?
Is he a great Dennis Rodman?
Right, right,
Or
right. That's a push though, right?
it's a
Like that's a
different,
hard thing
but
to
he's still a
quantify.
good defender, still a good help defender. He's still a great player. He scores at an efficient clip. I just think he was attached to Russell Westbrook, and it hurt him. It hurt him because his running mate made bad decisions, and at the time of the NBA, you had the Warriors coming, you had the Clippers coming, you had LeBron still in the league, Kobe still in the league. Like if you want to
I think
be
Spurs were a problem, right? Like there
Spurs
was a
were
lot of
exactly.
dominance. There was a lot of dominance in the NBA when he came into the building.
So, and you want if you want to carve yourself out and be a LeBron, or even in my like be a Steph Curry, be a game changer,
Mm-hmm.
be it on that Kobe Bryant level, you have to you have to win wherever you went.
Right.
And he was winning in OKC, but didn't get over the hump in OKC. And I just hate when people be like, "Oh, well, they had the Warriors down 3-1." I don't want to hear that. Trying to like, "Oh, he should have never left."
Right, right, right,
Like,
right. Like,
cut the
yeah.
shit. Like,
Mhm.
these players, for the most part, basketball players have maybe a if
10-year
you're
winner,
good player 8 years. If you're a great player,
40.
10 to 15. If you're a great player
Uh-huh.
of a window, you have to maximize that. So
For
like,
sure.
I respect LeBron for what he did. He
I
maximized
agree.
it
I agree 100%.
to to
Right.
as much as
That
he could.
overthinking of fucking Michael Jordan, that doesn't exist anymore, ladies and gentlemen, right? Like we need to maximize my motherfucking potential. So if I got to bounce from Cleveland to Miami, or if I got to bounce from OKC to GS, that's what I got to do, man.
Yep.
That's what I want to win. I don't want to
Exactly.
be fucking waiting, being, let's say, the Charles Barkleys of the world, right?
But
Wait
that's
10 years.
and that's the media's fault. That's the
Yes,
the
agreed.
average fans' fault
Yes.
that they put chips
So much pressure. Yes.
above anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a victim to that as well,
I think we all are, but I think that we are slaves to the writers,
for sure.
right? Because the way the ESPNs and the CBS Sportses and the Yahoos, bro, like Brady, Derek Jeter, Wayne Gretzky, and Michael Jordan have fucked it up for everybody, right?
Mhm.
Because these guys got multiple, we don't even we think it's so easy. It's so hard.
Yep.
It's hard to get one. It's harder to get two. It's probably harder to get fucking three. To go to back 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 and not even win is an accomplishment, right? Like,
Yep.
I think as the fans, and then we're so stupid because we're talking shit as a couch potato.
For sure.
We can't even fucking dunk.
We just gotta like my thing is too is you gotta hold both in the same category where you can't put too much weight on one thing and you can't put too much weight on the other thing.
Yes,
So
agreed.
like, okay, LeBron went to 8 straight finals, cool, but I'm not gonna give him, oh my god, because he went to 8 straight finals. If he would have won more than he lost, then
Right.
you could be like, holy shit, like
This guy's unbelievable.
fuck, like unbelievable. But he
Right.
lost more than he won.
Yes.
So like it has to stay where it's at.
It has to be
You
relative.
don't give it too much and you don't downplay it either. I'm not going to downplay going to 8 straight finals or going to 10 that he's been in his career. He's been in the league 17 years. He's won 10 times. Like you can't take that away from him.
No.
But I'm not going to elevate it when you're losing.
Right.
And it doesn't matter. Even if you played great, you still lost.
Right. Because at the end of the day, my man.
But that's what splits the greats.
Yes.
That's what splits the greats. That's what splits Joe Montana from Tom Brady. That's what splits fucking LeBron from Kobe, LeBron from MJ.
But I'll throw this argument in there too. I think that the level of competition also is a ton better, bro. Like you can't.
No, for sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think that maybe, and I'm not saying that they're trash, but late 80s, early 90s, maybe there wasn't so much cohesion. But now, bro, with sports science and health and nutrition, everybody's a beast. Even the 6-man off the bench is a monster. That wasn't the case maybe 20 years ago, right? So like, even like for me, I always think about when people talk about Joe Montana, I'm like, okay, Joe Montana was fire, but Joe Montana was on a team that threw the ball. They didn't throw the ball in the 80s. So of course they were dominating, right? Like, but now when you bring someone like a Brady into the thing, everybody knows how to stop the pass, right? Like it's different eras. I feel like we need to look at that as well because you can't. It's almost comparing apples to oranges, right? You can't say you can say Michael Jordan is the greatest, but when you compare him to LeBron or to Kobe or to even Kevin Durant, it's hard. They have so many other things, right? Like, if Kevin Durant was punching dudes in the locker room, he'd probably get thrown off the team. But because he was Michael Jordan, he was a beast, and they made him say, wow, he's got a fiery, competitive, personality. It's like, nah, dude, that dude was a dick, probably.
Yep.
Right now, KD's a little nicer. These guys are different, right? And both, what's interesting about Kevin Durant, and I'm sure you could unpack this a little bit more. Kevin Durant and LeBron James, they're both from single moms, right? Yep. So I think you get a different love and a different understanding. Michael Jordan had his dad. Yep. And I'm not saying that having a dad helps or hurts, but maybe the dad gives you a little bit more tenacity and he's not fucking impressed with everything you do. Okay, so fucking what? You can lay it up, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Go do something better. You know what I mean? When you have the moms, it's a little bit more nurturing. You might be a little bit more sensitive and understanding, right? And so I think it's different. Empathy. Yeah, and I love that about KD. KD's always flashing his mom, right? I mean, I think it sucks because you know what I think we think about when we look at some of these guys? The killer instinct is probably the final be all end all type of thing that we really gauge these things by, right? Because Michael Jordan could punch a dude on the field and then still score 45 with a flu. He's a beast. But if LeBron James catches cramps, he's a pussy. Or if KD only plays 30 minutes a game over 40 minutes a game, he's soft, right? And it sucks the way that whole thing goes. Yeah, it's like, dude, you're taking up too many things. I think that, first of all, you got to look at how competitive they are. And you can't take that away from him, right? Yep. Kevin Durant is competitive as fuck. But now, look at Patrick Mahomes, right? It's about where you land. Do you think that Patrick Mahomes would have been a beast as a Jacksonville Jaguar? Fuck no, right? But what if KD was drafted by the Golden State Warriors right out the gate? Or was drafted to go to play with LeBron? Yeah, like, what are we talking about? There's so many other moving parts. And basketball is very interesting because basketball, you don't need that many moving parts, right? Like, you could have two dudes that are beasts and still dominate, right? You can literally have one guy. Other sports are not like that.
I just think, though, too, like, what these guys don't put into perspective is the money aspect. So, when Jordan played, they were, like, some of them had to have jobs in the offseason.
Right, because there wasn't enough money.
Exactly. So, like, why I kind of understand the 90s basketball or even the 80s basketball is that they play hard, because it's like, if you didn't bust your ass and if you weren't winning, you were out the league kind of thing. You were out. And you got a lot of these guys now who are coming up being privileged that off their talent.
Yes.
From AAU to high school to college, coming in as a rookie, where, like, when you're a rookie, you get hazed. Like, you were getting hazed. You had to pay $50,000 for dinner or some shit like that.
Everybody watches and shit, or
carry a fucking book bag and shit like that. Wait, you got, like, some of these guys who were the shit. Now I ain't doing that, because again, 20 million, 30 million, 40 million off rip. You're already a multi-millionaire.
Yeah, that's
like,
crazy.
Look at Zion Williamson. He's $100 million. He got guaranteed without playing basketball.
Yep. Same thing about LeBron. What was it, $100 million?
So, like, what are you gonna tell that kid? What are you telling that person?
Now you don't gotta do anything anymore. You're good. You're Gucci.
So now the greats excel past that, which LeBron did.
Correct.
But you got some of the other guys who are making 20 million, over 4 years, who think that shit don't stink. You're the 8th person on the bench or 6th, 7th person on the bench, and they're not pushing to be great because there's so much money. You got some of these great guys. Kevin Durant has spoken about it. LeBron has spoken about it. Draymond has spoken about it. Where there's people in the NBA who don't even know how to play basketball, but they're athletic and they can shoot. But
hold on real quick. What does that mean? They don't know how to play basketball. They don't understand the X's and O's?
Correct. How to do a pin down screen. How to come off a pin down screen. What a pin down screen is, period. What's a curl? What's a V cut? They don't know any of that stuff. They just know ball, dribble, dunk, ball, dribble, shoot. I'm open, shoot.
I gotta interject really quickly, because I was just talking. A shout out to Don Casey, former Clippers coach, former Celtics coach. And you know what he said? He said that the reason why that's happening, he believes, is for the one and done shit. He believes because they're coming out of college as freshmen, they're not getting the extra tutelage that allows them to excel in that X's and O's things. What do you think about that?
Well,
Because I
that's
know
why
you,
like the '90s
I
was
know you, I know you're a fan of getting guys that are good into the building,
yeah.
right?
Like if you're great and you were
Right.
dominating, you should just go to the A.
Correct.
But if you're okay and you were gonna get better, then like, you go to college, whatever the case. But like that's why a lot of the greats in the '80s and '90s were great because they were kind of men coming into the league.
Right. They
They were
all went
22.
3 years in college,
They
and
were
they all came from great college coaches,
yep,
right? Like Patrick Ewing was one of those guys.
yep. Tim
MJ was
Duncan,
one of those, right? Like guys that went all the way. I mean, if you look at it, what is it? Kobe, LeBron,
Kevin Garnett,
Garnett. That's it.
think with Tracy McGrady.
Tracy might have been another one too. Yes. Come on, that's 4 out of how many dudes that entered the
Exactly.
building, right? And you're talking about maybe one guy every 10 years that you
Exactly.
get, right? And so it's weird. So I guess, in the discussion that we're talking about, maybe they should stay longer. I mean, it doesn't
For
hurt
sure.
you,
Well,
right?
it can. It can.
Financially, yes. Financially, yes, it could fuck with
It
you.
can.
But I
Because
think
look at Brandon Roy. If
okay.
Brandon Roy didn't go into the league when he went, let's say if he didn't do one and done, right? Or
Uh-huh.
Greg Oden didn't do one and
Uh-huh.
done.
Right.
Let's say
Right.
Greg Oden got hurt in college, he
College,
stood
he would've
another
got-
year.
Yeah, he would have been a janitor.
So he wouldn't have gotten that $30 million being a first round pick.
Right.
Life changing money. Because he would have got hurt. So like if you
He-
got the opportunity to go, you should go. But like these franchises shouldn't push out the vets.
Right. Agreed.
That's the issue. The issue
What about having like an in between league where
that's the G League.
right? So, but that doesn't seem to be getting as much.
Because you're not paying them what they could
Right.
get if you go to the league, if you go to the NBA.
Got it.
Because there's not enough money there. There's not enough money being generated for the G League kind of thing. And
Is that what some of these guys maybe look to Europe and
because
China?
you could get paid $1 million a
right?
year, $2 million just because your name, you're getting recognition, and on YouTube and on Instagram and on Twitter. Like, all right, now we could broadcast your game on YouTube. All right, we're
Right.
gonna get 100,000 viewers.
Yeah.
So it's all about the money at the end of the day.
Do you think that the NBA should take a look at some of these things where, I mean, some of these players need to become more polished? Because that's crazy that if guys like Draymond Green and Kevin Durant are saying that these guys can't play basketball, that's insane to me. Meanwhile, they make $20 million a year. That's crazy.
That's just because the way the NBA PA, the collective bargaining agreement. You can't blame the people for going to make money, but I don't want to big up that the league is way better when you got these guys who are making so much money not caring
Right.
to be great. It's only a handful, maybe 10 players who want to be great. Harden, KD, LeBron, Steph, Clay,
From Milwaukee.
Kawhi, Giannis. Like, it's only a
Right.
handful of these guys. But you
Yeah,
got
that's crazy. About it, 32 teams, and you don't even have 15 guys that are like, I want to be the greatest of all time. Like when they mention basketball, I mention it.
Exactly.
So this is the thing, because what I love about Colin Cowherd, he talks about keeping players a little thirsty because that keeps you driving, right? So you got to kind of pay them bullshit money until they reach that stardom level where you know that they're about being great. Do you think that maybe is a little bit something in it? Like, for example, a kid shouldn't be coming who hasn't done jack shit out of college making $30 million.
Exactly.
Right? It was the same thing that happened with the NFLPA. You had Jamarcus Russell making $100 million. He has not done anything in the NFL. As a rookie, you shouldn't be getting contracts like that. That's crazy. And it also makes you put shit in cruise control, right? I made it. I think what do you do?
Here's my take on that. I think you are only worth what somebody's willing to pay you.
Facts.
So there shouldn't be a locked-in structure to force a team to pay you a certain amount of money. So now, let's say I saw the potential in Trevor Lawrence, and I want to lock him up for 15 years. Or like with, let's say, for instance, what they did with Pippen, when Pippen signed a 7-year deal for $17 million.
Yeah, that was crazy. What a hell!
He was underpaid.
Correct.
For what he was doing.
Right, he was beast.
But he saw the potential in Pippen and paid him whatever he thought he was worth at that time.
Right.
So now let's say if I'm the Jags and I see Trevor Lawrence being fantastic, I should be able to pay Trevor Lawrence whatever I feel like he is going to be worth. Now, what the NBA should do, or the NBA players should do, or the NBA, I don't know, owner should do is have something similar to NFL,
Okay.
where
One sense. Tell me.
you can get cut.
And then I recoup my fucking money.
Exactly.
Right. Or I pay you out the contract and we're done. Either way.
Well, they have a buyout system like that where they can go over extra money years, but don't do that because I can do fuckboy shit and still get paid anyway.
Right. That's the problem.
I think guaranteed money
definitely has that part right in the sense that they set structures. Okay, if you hit this amount of points, if you get these amount of receptions, if you
incentives.
Right. I think that's the way the contract should be built. The contract should be built on a base and then incentivized. So like the base is 30 million, but you could hit 100 million if you check all these boxes.
Exactly.
Which incentivizes the players to beast, right? Like you become a scoring leader.
Your contract's $1 million. You could get 15 million or 20 million, whatever the case may be. That is how it should be structured, or how it should, happen. And then like these guys should, the NBA or the NBAPA can, let's say, do a insurance policy on the person if they do get hurt.
Agreed.
But if they don't get hurt, it should be on a year-to-year basis. It should be all right. Cook this year. All right, here's another 10 million. You cook the next year, here's 20 million. You cook the next year, here's 30 million. But not giving these guys $40 million when you're coming up, or $10 million coming up. It should be structured better, and they just got to do a better job of that.
So let's because we got a couple more things to hit. So in your personal opinion, Kevin Durant, top 15, top 10 player.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. It's good. Gotta get the misses. Make sure you holler at them. Top 10, top 15 player. Do you see him potentially maybe going from 15 to 10 as a net?
If he wins at least 2 rings in Brooklyn, then maybe. Trying to burn down the house.
Uh-oh. Fire, Will Robinson. Yeah, take the AAA batteries out of that
I think if he wins 2 rings.
Wow, that's a hard fucking order. 2 rings.
He has to. He has to. Like, I never had a problem with him going to Golden State.
Me neither.
It's time to win. It's time to win right now. You're trying to win. You're trying to maximize your potential. Do it. But now it's like you have to.
Hey, it's good that we're getting this shit on tape, bro. That way,
it's
just
bloopers behind the scenes.
Yeah. But the shit.
So he has to do that. I think he has to do that. He has
to
win.
Because I know you know a lot. Is the East? I'm not gonna call it weak, but it's definitely not as strong as the West.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about it earlier in the season. They were considered the favorites. Do you see them coming out of the East this season, going to the finals?
Well, Spencer Dinwiddie got injured, so he's out, torn ACL. So that took a blow.
That's not good.
I'm not saying it's all Spencer Dinwiddie do or die.
But you can't be losing guys like that if you're trying to make a serious run.
Correct. And then I get KD resting on back-to-backs, but Kyrie, you shouldn't be resting on back-to-backs.
So watch this. This is gonna be another thing. So did he doom his legacy by attaching his legacy to another Russell Westbrook-ish kind of player? Because that's pretty much what this motherfucker is too. Because Kyrie, that's difficult to deal with. Like he's a better. Why are you resting? You should be beasting. You're healthy, cuz you've already been out of the league almost a year and a half with an injury.
Exactly.
You need to be 100% by now, dog.
Yep. I wouldn't say he's a Westbrook type of player. I think he's a.
I was saying ish. I'm not saying
he's injury prone. So let's say that
Westbrook hampered the growth and development of KD. Right now, is Kyrie gonna hurt the development and next level that Durant's trying to take is pretty much what I'm trying to look at, because that's gonna be strong. Because
the tough part is that he's injury prone. Kyrie's injury prone. He's always got something: shoulder, knee, ankle, something that always derails him. So that's the hard part. If history repeats itself, and history always does, Kyrie could probably get her at a worse moment in time, and that's it.
Right? Because without Kyrie, you ain't doing jack shit. Just Kevin Durant by himself can't just go off like that, can he?
He could go off, but he doesn't have
basketball.
Yeah, he just doesn't have what LeBron could do. He controls the pace of the game.
Right. Yes.
We're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see how it works.
We'll look back at it. We're
still dealing with COVID.
Yeah, I'm right.
Like that all could take into. You never know. He could be out for 2 weeks in the final. Like we don't know how the NBA is gonna respond to that. Where are they gonna? Are they gonna postpone the games to make sure all the best players are on the court? And then does it help the other team who had a player who was really injured and needed 1 more week to come back? Like it's all these variables that we don't know yet.
Yeah, it's crazy. I like KD. We're gonna jump off this in a sec. I like KD a lot. I really hope that he has an opportunity to win 1 more. But I tell you, it's gonna be awfully difficult with Davis and LeBron, bro. Like that's so stacked.
It's gonna be where whose bench is gonna show up,
right? But LA's bench looks fire.
Mm-hmm.
They looked fire last year. They like.
Nets got a decent bench. Karis LeVert.
About this, and I'm not saying that he's a beast. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. What's I know it's Shaq. What's the other Superman?
Dwight Howard.
Yeah, Dwight Howard. How was Dwight Howard on the bench? Right. I mean, like that's how deep they were
last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's on 76ers now.
I don't think that BK's bench is going to be like as deep as that LA bench was last year.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah, we are. All right. So speaking about players, rating them, looking at them, all these kind of things. We'll do it kind of off the head. I don't know if you put it together too much. I looked at it because I've been wanting to do this for a minute. For the next few weeks, I want to kind of dive into position by position in the NFL and kind of give our grades and kind of looking at not only by teams, but by players. So this week I decided to talk to you, and I wanted to do like our top 5 wide receivers of 2020. Now, I'm not going to put a beyond, but I would like to give us like a 3-year window because I think 1 year is not enough. Mm-hmm. So who were the best receivers over the last 3 years?
Over the last 3 years.
3 years. That gives us a fair amount of space due to injury or whatever. The guy that's on my list, I had to put him at 5 because I think he only has 3 years. But I think 3 years is a fair enough statement because rookie, sophomore year, and then junior year, you definitely starting to fucking get it. If you don't get it by your junior year, then you might be a lost cause. All right. So if you had to pick your number 1 guy over the last 3 years, who would you take?
Tyreek. Got to be number 1.
Okay, so now watch. This is where I struggled. Okay, let's go with this real quick. So Tyreek is 1 for sure. That seems like an easy answer. Who's 2?
It would have to be between Julio.
Over the last 3 years, you still got Julio in the building?
You got to. He's just a freak of nature. Like,
all right, I'm gonna pull up his stats in a second. Okay.
Granted, for whatever reason, him and Matt Ryan are not on the same wavelength.
I think it's more about the offensive coordinator than it is Matt Ryan and Julio Jones because there's no way those dudes don't get it. But anyways, I had this discussion. Go ahead. What else? So Julio,
Devontae Adams.
Boom. Sure. Okay. So this is my 3, and then we'll nitpick the spotting and look at the overall 5. So I went off the jump. I went Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay.
Tyreek Hill has, let's see, he's been in the league 5 years. Let me double check that. Yes, he's been in the league 5 years. His numbers jump out at you, but also his speed is what kills, right? Because speed kills. But we also have to look at what defines a wide receiver, right? Because it's not just the fastest guy in the building. So then I looked at Devontae Adams as 2, right? And then I put DeAndre Hopkins at 3, right? Okay. Do you agree with those top 3? Let's say at this.
I could say that. Agree. You could even put DeAndre 1 just because of.
That's what I was just gonna say. DeAndre has to be 1. DeAndre has to be 1 for many reasons. But number 1 reason is he's played with so many QBs.
Exactly.
Right? Like I don't even know. So I have him here right here. We're gonna go over this really quickly. So homeboy came into the league Hold on, this loading stuff. All right, he came into the league in 2013. I can't even tell you who the fuck was the quarterback of that team.
Probably Matt Schaub or something.
Probably, yeah, a bum, 100%, a bum. Okay, so now let's look at this guy. Right, he comes into the league. That's his rookie year. 52 catches, 800 yards, 2 TDs. Next season, a little bit more of a jump. He goes 76 catches, 1,200 plus yards, 6 touchdowns. In his third year, he goes to over 100 receptions, over 1,500 yards, and now 11 touchdowns, right? So based on that, and I don't even think Watson was even in the building.
No.
You got to argue homeboy is number one.
I could agree with that because of just the different variety of quarterbacks. He had Tom Savage, Matt Schaub, Deshaun.
He had
everything.
Everybody, right? So then now do we move down Tyreek to 2? Because I thought you'd have to probably put Adams at 2. Because Adams has been in the building longer as well. And
well,
Adams...
They both have great quarterbacks.
Correct. That's the thing. But one could argue that Tyreek didn't have it because Patrick just came into the building. Yeah. But again, Devontae Adams has been in the league since 2014. So a little bit more similar with Hopkins. And again, first year, 38, 400 yards, 3 TDs. Second year, 50, 400, 1 TD. And then he really came into the scene in 2016 where he gets 75 catches, almost 1,000, and then scores 12 touchdowns. Right? Now, when you look at Tyreek's numbers, Tyreek is just a freak because the explosion at speed is just
and he can run the route tree.
That's the thing too, right? So speed, I think, is an anomaly. You have to talk about guys who are the best route runners, right? And I think all of those guys are probably tied.
Yep.
Right?
And you could throw Amari Cooper in there. He's a great route runner. He's not what those guys are, but he's a great route runner.
I think Amari Cooper gets a raw deal, man. He's a monster. I don't understand what the fucking problem is. I didn't understand the problem in Oakland, and I still don't understand the problem in Dallas. When he got traded that first season, he exploded onto the scene, and everybody was like, oh, is he that good? Oh my God. I'm like, yeah, no, homeboy's a beast. But now with the emergence of CeeDee Lamb, and then now Dak is talking about, did you hear that they might potentially try to get Dak in Indianapolis?
That'd be crazy. I see Dak going to San Francisco.
That would be great. But I think Jerry Jones already said that he's going to pay for Dak.
He's been saying that for the last 3 years, so we'll find out.
Oh, that's true. Okay. So now you got those 3 guys.
So we got DeAndre, Devontae, Cheetah.
And then in my shit, right? I went bananas. So you have to include Mike Thomas. Yes. The problem with Mike Thomas is, to me, he's more in that DeAndre Hopkins mold where anything you throw to him, he will catch.
Yep. And he's a great route runner. He's not fast, but he's a great route runner.
Right. Bro, 2017, 100 plus catches. 2018, 100 plus catches. 2019, 100 plus catches.
Yep.
Like, homeboys, I think at 4, you could argue 1, 2, and 3, but at 4, he's got to lock it down.
Yep.
Then I bought somebody random in the building.
Okay.
I went with Calvin Ridley. I think Calvin Ridley is the best emerging wide receiver.
Underrated, you think?
100%. If you watch this guy, when you talk about running the route tree, I've never seen, besides like Tyreek Hill and some of these other guys, someone who's always wide open.
Well, who's his running mate?
Got it. But we've seen a decline at Julio.
But that's because, again, I think that's just Matt Ryan. I think if Julio Jones was with Aaron Rodgers, do you really think Julio Jones is not getting 10 plus touchdowns?
No, there's no way that's not happening. He will. That's the one thing that I don't understand, and we agree on this, right? Like when I watch Rodgers, so my shout out to Uncle Salty. Uncle Salty is salty because he said that the Kansas City Chiefs are not number 1 in the power rankings from some of these writers.
Yeah.
And the Packers are. You know why I agree with that a little bit? Because Aaron Rodgers doesn't give a flying fuck who's covering the dude. He's going to throw the rock to the guy he likes over and over and over. And that doesn't seem to be the case with Matt Ryan. I think Matt Ryan potentially overthinks things and looks for the second receiver, the third receiver, the fucking backup tight end, the goddamn route or the wheel route to the fucking running back. Now I get it. You have to have progressions. But I think that Matt should have been force-feeding Julio a lot more.
For sure. Now, like, I'm not taking anything away from Calvin Ridley.
100%.
Look at.
No, you make a lot of sense with that statement.
Let's put into perspective. Juju Smith-Schuster busted onto the scene because they had Antonio Brown.
Facts.
Now look at Juju.
Bro, you can know. How about this? I got a better argument. You could probably argue that the rookie's outplaying Juju. Because
Exactly.
Claypool is having a
But
better.
now, why is Claypool having a good thing? Because they're
Right,
doubling Juju. So
right,
like, it's hard. Like,
it is hard.
the
It's
guys who we're talking about, they get the ball every game, no matter what. So you got Tyreek, DeAndre, and Devontae. They get the ball, triple team.
no matter what.
They're getting Michael Thomas is getting the ball no matter what. If you're a playmaker, they're getting you
what.
the ball no matter what. Now a sneaky one that we could throw in there. If you
Tell
want
me.
to round in the top 5, Keenan
Uh-huh.
Allen.
Okay, so now I looked at Keelan, right? And I'm gonna pull him up. Before we get to Keelan, I want to look at this. You might be this is so interesting, Julio's thing, because if I'm not mistaken, Homeboy's been in the league almost 10 years.
Yep.
Right? And since 2012, he's had he had an off year in 13, he had an off year last year. I mean this year, but 1,000+ receiving yards. Just dominate. The problem with Julio, and this could be a Matt Ryan issue, is the touchdowns. Now, the thing that I don't, so let's look at Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen, to me, I think that he's a great possession receiver, but when I look at all-time, I shouldn't say all-time greats. When I look at just dominant beast in the game over the last 3 years, he doesn't jump out at me. He's a top 10 guy. I don't think he's a top 5 guy.
The issues with the Chargers always had great position players across the board.
Yes, they draft phenomenally.
So you have Hunter Henry, you had Antonio Gates, Mike Williams, you have Austin Eckler. They have weapons. So he goes unnoticed, but Keenan Allen isn't a barn burner either. He's a great route runner, catches almost everything as well, but he plays in LA. Nobody gives a shit about football teams in LA. Nobody really cared about them in San Diego. It's fucking sunny on a Sunday. They're gonna go to the beach, kind of thing. I think he's sneaky good, but he doesn't get the recognition for it.
I also think that he's been plagued by injuries also.
Yeah. He had a couple of weird ones. He had he tore his ACL, this is normal. But then he ruptured his spleen.
Right, on
his kidney, which is weird, lacerated kidney. Like, who gets lacerated kidneys? Like, it's a weird injury to get.
It was a little freaky. I agree with that.
But he's been there. He's been consistent. Now you got Mike Evans too.
Oh no, I was looking at Mike Evans too. So you put what you would say? I would take Evans over Keenan Allen. Don't you think?
It's just so tough, man. You got
right.
Jameis Winston was giving him the ball, like he hit 40 interceptions, but I'm throwing the ball to you no matter what, kind of thing. So he has that anti-Matt Ryan thing going on.
Right. Yeah. 100%.
Like it's just tough when it comes to that, because you're gonna have quarterbacks who give now, because like look at like when Megatron was in the league, or when, like even Kenny Galladay is sneaky good.
Yeah, I was looking at him too. I was looking at Galladay, but Galladay's only been in the building an hour.
No, for sure. But what I'm trying to say is, Matthew Stafford is giving you the ball if you're a playmaker
all day. He'll give it to you until you break.
Exactly.
Basically.
So like you got some of these wide receivers in bad situations, or you got some of these wide receivers in great situations. Like I think Marquise Brown would cook if he was with Patrick Mahomes or Andrew and Aaron Rodgers. Yes. Or even Phillip Rivers, who airs it out.
Anybody who basically could just throw the rock and not give a fuck and just outrun these guys and catch it. That's
exactly. So you got
all the top guys.
Exactly. So that's the tough part.
Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, Deshaun Watson. Yeah, I was gonna say Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, even my man in Seattle, Wilson. Like those dudes are gonna stretch the field by giving their fastest player an opportunity to make a play on the ball.
Exactly. So I guess it comes hard to rating these guys because it's all situationally.
That's why I think that DeAndre Hopkins is hands down number one.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I think that's you can't debate that.
You know what I mean? Like he was dazzling with your boy Savage behind Senna. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Osweiler. Remember, Brock Osweiler.
Come on, that guy's got a water gun for a fucking arm.
Exactly.
So so then I guess listen, everything is circumstantial. I agree. But when I'm talking about explosion, I mean, again,
we can't forget about OBJ.
So I'll look him up. I just feel like OBJ, first of all, another guy, right? Your homie. Eli Manning was a motherfucker that could give
him the ball. Yep.
I'm getting sacked. The offensive line crumbled. Fuck it. I'm going to throw it the furthest I could throw it.
Besides Tyreek, OBJ is the only person who could take a slant to the house almost every time.
Okay, that's fair. So you what do you think? He's a 4.4 speed guy?
For sure. Yeah. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
right?
Hell yeah.
This is my knock on OBJ. I could give two shits that he kicks footballs on the sidelines. I could care that his hair is blonde. Homeboy's injured too. That's
He's
what I
another
care.
injury prone. Yeah.
I need you on the field, daddy. I
Yep.
can give a flying fuck if you're a
But
fucking.
we talk about talent. If we talk about talented wide receivers, he's there. He could be even the fifth.
Really? So let me get this guy up. So top 10, or are you saying top 5? OBJ.
He's definitely in the top 10 just because of injuries.
Right.
So because the last 3 years are gonna look shaky because he's been injured the last 3 years. But if you look at his career overall, he's a beast. His rookie year was stupid, and he only played like 5 games, 6 games.
Damn. Okay. I mean, so weird. He goes on TV. He talks all that shit about Eli Manning. But looking at these numbers, 91 receptions, 1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns with Eli Manning. Next year, 96 receptions, 1,400 plus yards, 13 receptions. That's with Eli Manning again. 101 catches, 13 plus, 10 touchdowns. He's had a better career on the Eli Manning than he did with anybody else. Yet he threw Eli Manning under the fucking bus when he got, on the call with some folks. So I don't know. Those first numbers, but then it goes down. It's going down. It's trending downwards, right? These other guys are trending upward.
Yep.
So I think for sure OBJ's in the conversation, but I think that he's a top 10 guy. I mean, if he could have consistently did that, bro, 100, 1,010, he might have been the greatest, like arguably greatest.
Because he already broke the record for the most in a 3-year span of catches, yards, and touchdowns for wide receiver in his first 3 years.
Yeah, I know that. I know he was on track for just alarming numbers.
Yep.
So you think a head case plus the injuries is what knocked him down out of the thing?
For sure.
Right?
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. So let's go DeAndre, Devontae, Cheetah, Michael Thomas, and the fifth guy. That's what we need to
figure out. So, okay, let me pull up Mike real quick, because Mike obviously had the guy who didn't give a fuck either.
Yeah.
Famous Jameis is like Eli Manning. I don't care if
30 touchdowns, 30 picks. Never seen that in my life.
Bro, that's beast mode. What's so funny?
And over 5,000 yards passing.
I've seen it before. You know who nobody talks about it? I've seen it a lot before. No one ever brings this shit up. That's fucking Brett Favre numbers. Brett Favre didn't give a fuck.
Yep.
Brett Favre would throw across his chest or across
backwards.
The field. He didn't care. He was another dude. But now you're not supposed to do that, right? You're supposed to play within the system and a lot of guys. Okay, let's take a look at this guy here. All right, Evans. I guess again, never has broken 100 100 receptions for the season. But even though he's been injured, I think Mike Evans has to be 5. Since 2014, when he came into the league, he's been 1,000+ yard receiver
every year,
and has been injured like a motherfucker, and every year. So I got to take Mike over not only OBJ but Julio. Over Keenan Allen.
And Keenan Allen. Okay, so that's our 5.
Right, because Ridley hasn't been in the building long enough, and you hate Matt Ryan.
And because he's benefiting from Julio.
Facts.
If they trade Julio or cut Julio, whatever they do with Julio this offseason, if they do that.
Right. And you think he continues to produce, then he'll make a conversation.
Correct.
Done.
Because then I feel like what's going to happen is Russell Gage is going to come into the conversation out of nowhere because of Calvin Ridley.
He's already doing it.
Because Julio's not playing.
Correct. And everybody's doubling Calvin.
So it just comes down to that.
Wow. Man, it makes it sound so easy, right? You just got to get another guy who draws attention, and then the other guy just eats.
Because if you want to think about it, go old school, Jerry Rice and Terrell Owens. Jerry Rice got doubled every fucking game.
Yep, and then T.O. started to emerge.
Exactly.
Yes. All right. So we're gonna stay in the NFL. That's great. Next week we're gonna either do QBs or running backs, and I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna take a couple positions. We're gonna do like our fucking top 5 offensively and defensively, because I feel like everybody waits for the season to be over, but some of these guys got to get acknowledgement. And I think that DeAndre Hopkins doesn't even know motherfucking Kyler Murray. He's fucking catching that shit. He's like, bro, just throw the rock.
He's won 2 games single-handedly because of him.
Right, and that has to be the best play of 2020. Would you agree? That Hail Mary,
the triple team.
Catch, he pulled a Kevin Megatron.
Yeah, his name could do about that. There's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah, it's uncoverable, baby. All right, so we're gonna jump around and we're gonna do this week's. We're gonna do some picks. This is the whole round here. All right, cool. So we'll figure it out and then we'll chop it up. Whatever, I could care less. All right, so First game, 10 a.m. Pacific time for me, but that's not Eastern Standard. So Eastern Standard to you guys is what? That's a 1 o'clock game?
Yep.
10, right? The Colts play the Bills, and the Colts got to go on the road to play the Bills. Is this going to be a smackdown by the Bills, or is this going to be an actually good game?
I think it's going to be a really good game just because the Colts defense is really good. I think the Colts defense is going to be really good. Josh Allen has been cooking all year, but playoff football is different.
For sure.
Playoff football is way different.
And this is his first season as a playoff quarterback, correct?
Yeah, because they missed last year.
So there's gonna be little jitters.
Exactly. Throw in the dirt, throw over the high. Who knows?
So now, because we're teasing it a little bit, because we're gonna do maybe QB or running back next week. If Allen wins this game, does he emerge as a top talent?
I gotta see more.
Still? Okay.
I gotta see more. But I could see how that is a possibility. But Stephon Diggs is there.
Right. Well, first of all, they're loaded at wide receiver because no one even talks about Cole Beasley. And Cole Beasley be cooking motherfuckers.
Exactly. Hot sauce and everything.
Bro, and they got some new dude named McKenzie coming out of the building. Like they I gotta give it to them. Watching the Jets dumpster fire this season, and the Giants did okay. You guys managed shit a little bit okay. I mean, I think next season you guys will be much better. You'll get the players back. But watching what the Bills have done on both sides of the ball has just been very impressive. I tip my cap to them. I think that you could probably argue that the Bills coach has to be in the conversation for coach of the year.
Okay.
Right? The Bills are the number 2 overall team in the AFC. That's crazy.
Yep. I can see that.
All right. So if you had to pick, we'll do a little different this week. We'll say pick, and then we'll say your standout player, right? Instead of a fantasy player. So who are you going to take? You said the Colts defense is going to travel.
I think I'm going to take the Colts just because they're going to play with some inspiration. Because Phillip Rivers' last game.
Okay, that's fair.
Last season. For the most part, he's saying that he's going to retire after the season.
He should. It would be nice if he won the whole thing.
That'd be crazy.
Right?
Then Andrew Luck comes out of retirement. That'd be fucking insane.
They already got the short list. Supposedly the word on the street is Carson Wentz.
Yeah, because of Wright.
Frank Wright. Okay.
I'm saying if Andrew Luck says I'm coming out of retirement, bye Carson Wentz. Like, no shot.
How fire would that be? I'd be crying.
Insane.
I miss Andrew Luck like a motherfucker. He's just that. What a tough football player. Yep. All right, I'm gonna go opposite. I'm gonna take. So who would be your standout? Colts win. Standout. Phillip Rivers.
I'm gonna take the Colts defense.
Okay, they
have to play out of their mind to keep this offense under wraps. Keep it low scoring.
Right. All right, I'm gonna go different. I'm gonna say the Bills.
Okay.
I just think that what the Bills have done has just been great, and they have a good defense too, and they're playing at home. So a little bit of the travel. They don't have to travel, which is great. I'll take the Bills, and I listen to this. This is just a little stat on the bottom that I got. This is the Bills' first home playoff game since 1996, my man.
Jesus Christ, 24 years ago, right? Yeah, 24 years ago.
God damn. So I'm taking 24 years. I'm going to take the real New York team, the real New York, even though they're close to Canada, with my man Drake and all those motherfuckers in Toronto, very close. I'm going to take the Bills, and I'm going to take Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen's going to cook. I think that this guy is unbelievable. I'm very impressed, and I got to tell you, if you're listening, this is what you need to watch from Josh Allen. Not only can he run over guys like Cam Newton, the way he throws from the left side of the field is not only textbook, but jaw-dropping. This guy has command of not only the offense, but the whole entire field. So that's what I'm going to take. And, man, I think people are going to cry if they win. 96, bro. God damn.
Bills Mafia is going to be happy.
Yeah, I think, did you pull it up? This has got to be like a 3-point game, right? Or you think a pick 'em?
No, I don't think it's that close. I think Buffalo's favored by like 5, I think.
Wow.
Because they're home.
I'm gonna start talking to my peoples in Vegas, looking at these odds here.
Yeah, look, Buffalo's favored by 6.5.
Shit, that must have went up.
Minus 6.5. I would definitely take the Colts at 6.5, plus 6.5.
All right. I'm gonna we'll put 2. I'm gonna take the Bills, but if there's points, fuck it, I'm gonna take the Bills too. They're gonna smoke.
All right, now the game after that.
Uh-huh.
We got the Rams on the road at Seahawks, and it's 4:40 kickoff. for me.
This is insane to me because it's basically a division matchup, right?
Yep.
And a little stat provided to us by the NFL: the Los Angeles Rams have allowed 18.5 points this season. Oh, damn it. 18.5 points this season, which is the fewest in the NFL, which qualifies them, I think, as the best defense in the league.
Okay.
That being the case, it's in Seattle, right? Seattle gets a little cold.
And no Jared Goff, I believe.
Wow. Fuck, man. And then what's the spread on this? Let's see what Vegas thinks.
3.5 for Seahawks.
That half, they're hooking fools.
Yes, sir.
Gonna go to the wire. But the Rams, if they don't got a quarterback, it's over. So I'm gonna take the Hawks. And I think my standout player, there's only two that I would pick. I'm going to take DK Metcalf. I think this is the game that DK Metcalf officially gets himself into the top 10 of wide receivers, saying I'm a monster. But Russell Wilson has to force feed him the rock, which is something I don't think that Russell has been doing this season enough of. Okay. So I'm going to take that, and I'll buy the points because I like 3. I don't like 3.5. So what do you got?
I'm probably going to go with the Hawks as well because just Russell Wilson championship DNA. He'll pull something out, miracle at the end of the game.
No votes for the MVP ever, right? He's got to have that shit taped to his locker.
He's probably not going to get any this year again because
they don't like him. Right. They don't like him.
He started the first 6 games on fire, 7 games on fire, and then just...
they were 7-0, 8-0. They were the best fucking team, and then nothing. No love.
So I'm going to go with him. I think he going to make a miraculous play at the end of the game. Get him in field goal position, and they kick a field goal to win the game. I'm going to go with the Seahawks there.
All right, and then so you taking Russ as your standout, right? Okay.
Sure.
So then in that same day, man, this is gonna be a great day, bro. 3 great games. Yep. The next game, this is what I gotta tip my hat to Ron Rivera for getting. Granted, your division stinks about all hell, but to even keeping those guys together and getting to the playoffs in his first season, also while he was battling cancer, and then the stat in this game. This is Tampa Bay's first playoff appearance since 2007.
Yep.
All right. What do you think?
I'm gonna take the Buccaneers all day.
Sorry, my apologies. It was the Bucks versus the Skins, and the Bucks got to travel. So you're taking the Bucks, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Bucks.
What's the spread on that? Let's see what Vegas has.
For the Bucks. I just too much experience from Tom Brady.
Agreed, but I think that price point is a little too high.
I can see the Skins covering.
Yeah, for sure.
But I just think too much firepower from the Bucks offense. They're gonna blitz all day because Alex Smith might not play, or if he does, he's not at 100%. He's like 60%. Then you got Heineke, who's
right. Okay,
a rookie kind of thing. It's just a perfect storm for Tom Brady and the Bucks.
All right, so I want to before I give my thing, I want to go into the future a little bit. Mm-hmm. If Tom Brady wins this, is he the greatest ever? If he wins a Super Bowl, not this fucking game. If he wins a Super Bowl this season, is it a wrap? Like, not only does he need to retire, mic drop it, but does this put him, fuck Joe Montana, fuck John Elway, fuck Terry Bradshaw, fuck a lot of these dudes?
I think he's already there.
You think so?
But it'll be like you can't ever say anybody else ever. Like
that's it. You're about to turn the
He's 30. He's 30-11 in the playoffs. He's 6-9 in the Super Bowl. Like at the hardest position in all of sports.
Right.
It's not even close. Quarterback is the hardest position in all of sports.
So you're taking for sure the Bucks, but you like the Skins to cover. Who would be your standout player in this game?
Antonio Brown.
Thank you. That's why we're together on this show. Not only are we Aquariuses, but we think you stole my motherfucking answer because if it's not Brady, he's got to be Brown. Because now Brown is starting to sizzle. Yep. Okay, he's starting to cook like you put the little
3
onions.
straight weeks.
Facts. Homeboy's hot. All right, so I'm gonna take Brady. That's my guy because Brady's got to throw the rock to fucking Brown. I'm gonna take the Bucks, but if I was betting money, I would definitely take Washington to cover this game. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. But that said, if there's no Alex Smith, that could be happening.
It could be a blowout.
They just smack the shit out of the Atlanta Falcons.
Yep. and the Bucks blitz the second
on the road. I think on the road they smacked the Atlanta in Atlanta.
Yep.
No, they didn't. They were outdoors, so they beat them.
And the Bucks blitzed the second. They're the second highest blitzing team in the league.
Nasty. I love it. Okay, so we got that. So now we're gonna go to Sunday, And Sunday's games are not as enticing or beautiful
Mm-hmm.
as these first games. All right. So now this is going to be a very interesting game because I think that both of these teams are very similar. So the Ravens travel to Tennessee to play the Tennessee Titans. The road team in postseason history is 4-0.
In this matchup.
Correct.
I think I'm gonna go with King Henry.
Right?
I think
Come on. That's a slam dunk. It seems.
I think they're gonna control the game with King Henry. Even though the Ravens have been clicking on all cylinders, when it's playoff football, man, history repeats itself. He hasn't been that good.
They don't even talk about how good the backfield for Tennessee's defense is, bro. They got a former Super Bowl cornerback. There's no way you can't take the Titans on this. What's the spread on this? Let's see what Vegas thinks.
3.5 for the Ravens.
Fuck, so Vegas likes the Ravens on this shit.
I feel like it's a trap.
Max.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. It's a wrap. Okay. So, fuck. So, okay. So you're taking Ravens, right? I mean,
Correct.
Tennessee. No, you're taking Tennessee.
Tennessee and outside players would be King Henry.
Right. Is a standout for sure. I'm going to go a little crazy. I'm definitely going to fuck with you and I'm going to take Tennessee, but I'm going to take Lamar as my standout because he's going to have to run for his fucking life.
And he's probably going to throw for like 300 yards because he's going to be down.
Yeah, it's gonna be a thing. I can't wait till we're either right or wrong on this because it's either flex our muscles or make us look weak sauce. All right, so that's dope. I think that's fair. And the funny thing is, both of these teams are 11-5.
Yep.
All right. The next game is I don't even know how these motherfuckers got in the building, but I gotta say this: I'm super excited that they expanded the wild card because it brought some teams in the building that shouldn't have gotten in. But kudos to the Bears for making it, and they play the Saints.
And they did it. I think they did it because of COVID. Sorry to cut you off.
No, they totally did it because of COVID, because they didn't know what was happening, all of these things. I think they should keep it. So now Chicago has lost 6 straight games versus New Orleans. Their last win against New Orleans was Week 15 of 2008. Who do you got?
Damn.
Right?
If I had to bet,
the biggest number?
It's -10 for the Saints.
God damn, that's a lot. You got to take the Bears to cover that.
I'll take the Bears to cover that for sure.
But if you're picking the winner of this fucking game, who's gonna?
I just have to pick the Saints just because they have more firepower, more experience, and they're just good at losing in the NFC Championship game. The Saints.
So, do you think? And this is gonna sound crazy. First of all, what's weird is that the fucking Saints play horrible playoff football at home.
True.
And they always struggle against good defenses. How crazy would it be if the Bears win this? Because it seems like Mitch Trubisky is starting to get it a little bit. Would that tarnish Breeze's legacy if he loses this
It would
game?
just be another Peyton Manning.
Got it. Okay, so you're gonna take Saints. Who's your standout?
That'll be Michael Thomas.
Wow. Okay, I'm surprised you didn't take the Ferrari. All right. In Vegas, I'm totally taking the Bears. This seems like a lock of the fucking week because the Saints, if they win, is going to be by 3. I'm going to take the Bears to cover, but if I want the Saints to win this game. I would like for Drew Brees to win another chip. I think Alvin Kamara is going to fucking have a day. So that'll be my standout player in this game.
The human cheat code.
Facts. I mean, he's right up there with Tyreek Hill. Those two are probably the most dynamic players in the league. They literally changed the landscape of games, hands down.
Now, going to the weirdest game of the week. This is the weirdest game. Browns on the road to the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
The Browns have no head coach on the sideline due to COVID.
So talk to me. Oh, okay.
Kevin
Wow.
Stefanski is not coaching on the sidelines.
Hmm.
And they're missing a guard.
Hmm.
The Browns are missing one of the starting guard.
Okay. Ben Roethlisberger is 23-2-1 against the Cleveland Browns.
I think they're like 6-0 in the last whatever games.
Yeah, smack the shit out of this fucking team. Okay. So you asked me, right? Browns,
Yep.
Steelers. To be honest with you, this is a very tough game. I think, to be honest with you, this is going to be the game of the playoff week. I love what Stefanski's done. I think they arguably have the 2 best running backs in the league on this team. I think that Baker Mayfield has emerged as maybe a top 20 quarterback, but it's the fucking Steelers, bro. It's the Steelers, and it's on the road. What's Vegas giving me on this?
-6 for the Steelers.
Fuck. That's fuck. This is the only thing. I know that Ben didn't play last week, but the Browns look super efficient.
They only won by 2. So, like, how efficient were they?
The Steelers caught up because the fucking Browns defense sucks. It's been a problem all season. They give up like 40 points a game. If you watch like the first quarter, for the most part, or for the first 3 quarters, for the most part, they were scoring the Browns against all the best players on the defense, TJ Watt and Aminka Fitzpatrick. That's who I think are going to be the difference makers in this game if those guys can play. But it's crazy. A lot of people have emerged on the Browns. I'm going to take the Steelers as a safe bet. If I was betting, I would take the Browns because if they only lost by 2 or won by 2, I think that this is going to be a way closer game. I think 6 is too much. I would take the Steelers. I want the Browns to win this game, but I'm going to take the Steelers. If I was betting the money, I would take the Browns with the 8. My standout on this, I'm going to take Baker Mayfield, bro. Baker Mayfield be getting it done, bro. 200 at least and 2 TDs. I think this is the game. If he wins this game, the Browns are officially on the fucking map.
Okay. So to win the game, I'm going to go with the Steelers.
Right.
Just because they're home.
Yeah.
It's fucking cold in New York today. Fucking brick.
I can't imagine how hard that feels going to be and how
exactly.
cold.
But my standout player is definitely going to be Nick Chubb. That offense runs through Nick Chubb.
So good.
It runs through how,
like King Henry does it for Tennessee.
Exactly.
Same
play action, rollout.
Yeah. Yes, that's what they do. Play action and rollouts, baby. Let's do it. And then screen passes to Kareem Hunt when they're done chasing fucking Chubb.
And I don't know how Stefanski not being on the sideline is going to affect them.
Right.
That's the tough part.
Right. In the sense of play calling.
Yeah. Situational football.
Right. Situational football. But I feel like he's gonna try to do so if you got COVID, you can't even come in the building.
I don't think so.
So, I mean, the teams have done really well with Zoom calls. So we'll pretend that they kind of have an idea of going with that. So
they're probably going to do like an earpiece, him watching the game. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have something they're going to do.
Okay. So
that concludes our games.
Yeah, that's it, man. I'm really, really excited. I think the games that got me, these are really good games, bro. The Saturday is going to be fire.
They should have mixed some of them up. I think that Sunday games suck.
Sunday games totally suck. It's just boring because it's going to be more defensively played games.
For sure.
And then the offenses, for the most part, are just
I feel like the Titans game should have been the late night game.
Yeah, agreed. Just to mix it up because now I'm not. I mean, fucking Ravens, Tennessee. That doesn't sound like an interesting game.
No.
Bears Saints, bro. That sounds terrible. That sounds like 10-3.
Yep.
That's what they
could see that happening.
Right, and then the best one is the Browns Steelers, and again another division matchup, and I'm excited for them. Can't wait to see how this all goes. All right, well, we concluded the games.
Yep.
We got about we'll put it to another 12 to 20 minutes. We'll see how excited we get about this. I really wanted to get this down, and we have a lot of content to chop up for you guys and throw out on social media. So I'll double check, but I think that IGN gave Wonder Woman a 9.
They're smoking drugs. Whoever is the editor or the movie critic or whoever needs to be fired yesterday.
So, what did you think? If you had to give it from 1 to 10, let's start there. What would be your ranking?
The movie?
Yes.
1.
Damn, you're brutal.
A 1.
Okay. So, I'm going to go a little higher, and I'm going to say I would have given it a 7.
You need to be shot now.
Okay, look, we're gonna break it down really quickly.
Gavin Newsom, I'm telling on you. I am telling. You're not allowed to have a TV no more, my guy.
So this is my question. Why did you think it was absolutely terrible?
Okay. I was talking to Felix about this yesterday.
Okay.
I get they were trying to do an 80s kind of theme.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit of the cheesy, overacting kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you're a big-time billion-dollar studio.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Stranger Things doing the 80s better than you when you have 3 times the budget? So you could have made it dope still. if you would have had a better team in place. Wonder Woman's 1 was so good that part 2 was so bad that I feel like the acting was bad. I feel like
Agreed.
all right, spoiler alert if you haven't seen Wonder
Well,
Woman.
this is total. First of all, this is not a spoiler-free
Yeah.
review. This is a total spoiler
Super
review.
spoiler. 1, if you haven't seen it, don't see it. I'm saving you time. That's 1. 2, Shorty, who was the geologist, rock, whatever.
Man, I don't know why.
Whatever her
Mrs.
name
Wick.
is. I don't want to.
Wig.
Whatever.
Yeah, Mrs. Wick.
I feel like
Kristen Wiig. SNL.
I feel like it was like what, like why, like it. They kind of like.
Thought it was a bad casting for Cheetah.
I feel like they were trying to implement her into the story too much, where she didn't need to be implemented into the story.
I felt like it was the opposite. I felt like they didn't implement her enough.
I feel like she was too implemented, and I feel like it was this cheesy. I'm a dork. Nobody likes me. I could get cute, and now guys want to fuck me. It was just like, no, I'm good. No.
So Cheetah casting character.
Now let's get to the CGI. How?
No. What's the CGI? I want to go cast by cast before we do that.
Okay.
What did you think about the Mandalorian, Pedro Pascal? Did you think that he brought it? Because he was supposed to be the all-powering guru and basically the fucking the straw stirring the drink.
I think they try to play on his name more than the character itself. I
felt like he didn't do. It was a weird performance.
Because they were trying to do this 80s thing again, and they could have done it with taste and grace and kind of really like gotten it there. But they were trying to make this guy like a sleazy salesman, con artist. Kind of thing, and it just wasn't there. It wasn't hitting for me. It wasn't connecting with me.
I think he had a problem identifying with that character.
For sure.
Because it didn't seem natural. It seemed very forced.
Yeah.
The whole easy thing. Another thing, really quickly, I thought it was strange. Not that I'm against having multicultural actors, but what was the deal with him having an Asian kid? Like, there was never an Asian mom, right?
Yeah,
like, we never met Homeboy's mom, and then all of a sudden he has an Asian kid, and I'm like, okay. There was no, like, they should have been a little bit more, like, backdrop on that. Like, did he meet an Asian chick and then that fell apart? Like, I felt that they were so rushing the dad shit that it came from nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, he's trying to be a millionaire and now he's got an Asian kid. I'm like, what? That was weird.
They were trying to make it like he was trying to do something for his leave a
right,
legacy.
Like he had morals, but he was struggling with it and blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay.
And then I was like, ugh, the story wasn't all that to me. It was like, all right, he becomes the wishing lamp nonsense.
Right. Out of the whole fucking rogue gallery of characters you could pick, you picked some dude that got a rock.
Yeah, like what? And like she talks about, she explains what the ring thing is, but then doesn't know what the fuck where went. She could read every language, speak every language, but then it couldn't break down what the language was in the ring. Like, it was this weird thing. Like, and she was sad that the homeboy was dead. Whatever, 1942.
By the way, that was probably the best part of the whole movie.
Yeah, him coming back. I like him as an actor. Don't get me wrong. Like, it was funny. That was dope. They implemented him dope. It was no overacting. It wasn't cheesy.
Delivered it like a motherfucking
But
beast.
then them going to another country, then her saving the kids in the middle of the street, her losing her power. The graphics are so bad. Her like
I know, for such a multi-million-dollar fucking
that's what I'm
picture.
saying. Like, how your CGI is that bad? How you see compared to Marvel? Because you're right. You're basically on your competition is Marvel.
Correct. There's nobody else in the building.
Your baseline is Marvel. Why is the CGI so bad? Like, then she's riding lightning. She's riding lightning to jump on a plane that's gonna take her somewhere. Like,
yo, bro, I gotta tell you something funny because I wish you were there with us when we watched it on Christmas.
Bro,
I had some young guys that remind me a lot of you when you were young, and they're like, "No, that's Spider-Man. No, that's Captain America. No, that's Iron Man," because it was comedy. Homegirl is flying. Like, I was really confused about Diana's power development. She goes from riding lightning with a rope that makes people tell the truth to now flying to making an invisible jet. Like, they rushed so much into this film. I feel like that was probably their hugest mistake.
For sure. They could have.
The first one, it was very simple, right? It was a girl that was basically a coming of age movie. She was trying to figure herself out. She met some dudes. She showed what true bravery and leadership is, even in the heart of danger. The character was sicker, and then it was dope, and then it kind of flatlined.
Because even like when she was a little girl,
I mean,
and even when she was a little girl, like the beginning of the movie was kind of cheesy too. Like her sliding down this fucking thing. The graphics were so bad. Her jumping on the horse. Like I got the moral, you shouldn't cheat to win kind of thing. Okay, but if they also be these badass warrior Amazon fucking things, how is this little girl like sunning them kind of thing? Like I get that she's special. She's like half god kind of
mhm.
thing, but it's like,
So
huh?
let me ask you. So this was a couple of things. So I really dove deep into this because I knew we were gonna have like fun with this one. So out of the first two openings, right? Because they were battling,
Yep.
which one would you have picked? Would you have picked the opening in Themyscira? I think I said that wrong, but wherever she's from, Amazonian, or the mall sequence? Because Warner Brothers tried to cut one of those parts. Which part you thought was better? That mall
The
opening
mall
sequence?
one, just because it wasn't as cheesy with the graphics, the CGI.
Okay.
It's kind of
You
like
thought her fucking flying all over the goddamn mall wasn't fucking bullshit too? I was
I
like,
didn't
what
say it
in the
wasn't
fuck
bullshit.
is going on? So it was less bullshit. Less
Correct.
bullshit.
It was kind of believable because the CGI wasn't bad
Okay.
when it came to that. But then like, if I found it stupid too, where it's like she doesn't really have a secret identity.
Right.
So like she's being secret, have a secret identity. Oh, don't say nothing. But she's like still out running around doing shit, kind of thing. Like it was just weird, like the way they set it all up. And
I also I'm gonna go even one step further. You ready for this one?
Right.
This is why I think Wonder Woman was okay. I think she's a horrible actress.
True.
I think she's not good. I think they gave her more lines, and I think that she was amazing. And this is gonna sound terrible and feminist and masculine and all that other shit, but just as an actor, when she was in Fast and the Furious, forget about her getting naked. She probably had 3 lines. She sound
Mm.
powerful. She's tall. She's Middle Eastern. She's sexy. Same thing in the first one. Wonder Woman maybe had 15 lines total. Okay. Now for her to actually act, I thought she dropped the ball. I thought she.
I said the acting was bad across the board.
I think she was the leader of that shit. Because my man Pedro Pascal was digging deep.
Yeah.
He was
He was kind of
even
like
though he
overacting.
yeah, he overacted, but he was the only motherfucker that showed up. So in first place, Chris Pine, my man, Captain Kirk,
Yep.
delivered like a motherfucker. In second place is Pedro Pascal. I think everybody else, I would actually put Kristen Wiig's performance over
And then then she turned into a leopard
right.
cat
She's a thing.
thing, and
Yeah.
then she go and put the armor on. You know, it's like what? So she lightning fucking
There was
plane.
a lot of character development that they should have they could have made like 17 movies out of all the shit we just talked about.
Like she jumped on the lightning, plane. Then all of a sudden now she's in a golden suit there. Like what?
Right.
Like the golden suit was back in the crib, like back in her office or her house. The golden whatever shit she had.
Yeah, yeah,
Like how
yeah.
did she go from downtown chaos everywhere to lightning, plane in golden suit?
I don't understand so okay, she's flying. She wishes homing back. She turns a jet invisible. She's riding lightning, and she wears a golden fucking bird suit. That's way too much. I think that was
That's
too
supposed
much.
to be this dope ass armor that gets the
Right, and
cat
she
fucks up.
shit up.
And she's just holding it and she's breaking
Right.
the shit. And it's like,
It held off like 100 dudes, but one chick
yeah, right.
with a
She was like 1,000 people she was
that
she was the
died.
last Amazonian, whatever, protecting the people. Blah blah
Yep.
blah. It was pristine condition, but this fucking cat bitch breaks it in 7 punches.
Right.
Like, and then they both in the water. The
Mhm.
cat gets electrocuted, but then she doesn't. Like,
Right. I didn't understand that either. I thought she was dead. That was weird.
yeah, like
She gets electrocuted. Usually, a person gets electrocuted in water, it's over for you
Yeah.
in most cases, right? A la Michelle Pfeiffer in Batman Returns,
Yep.
electrocution over. Even though she has 9 lives, she does come back. So maybe that's something that they were playing with. So I didn't really truly understand all of that thing going on, but it was just I just thought it was just so much. My man Pasquale, like I said, definitely. But this is the thing too, which I feel like interesting. You're not moved by his performance as the Mandalorian. So I think you see him on this too. It just kind of, like you said, it was overacted. I don't know. I think Pine was probably the best thing because I wasn't even impressed about the invisible
Yeah.
jet. Like I'm like, okay, I don't care. I don't
For
care.
whatever reason, DC does a bad job with their movies.
I just think that they try to tackle too much because this, like, Wonder Woman was like the first, like, since, let's say, Tim Burton's Batman, that was like a silver lining in the whole mythology of these characters, and did a great job with one. But maybe the ceiling was so high and they tried to do so much. I mean, that could have been a 3 hour movie. It was pretty close.
You know what it
Like,
reminded me of?
ah,
When you were a kid, right?
mhm.
You watched your favorite cartoon or your favorite movie, let's say whatever the case may be. You would thought like I go back and I was watching the old Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, right?
Mhm.
And I was as a kid, I was like Mighty Morphin everything. Like I'm fucking
I think everybody was.
like that shit was great.
It
But
was amazing.
have you ever went back to watch the episode as an adult?
Yeah, I tried. It was brutal.
So fucking bad.
Yeah,
They
that
went from in 10 minutes, the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger kids went from not knowing how to fight, not knowing what anything is, to being these elite assassins and morphing and getting their droids out. Like it was just like this major rush when it came to the Power Ranger thing, which it kind of reminded me of that in Wonder Woman too. So it was this bad rush thing that I just thought,
I think if you're gonna bring back a guy like Chris Pine, they should have made that like the focal, and they tried to.
yeah,
But the moment that they walked away from it, the movie just suffered, and the moment that he wasn't in the movie, it suffered. And I think a large reason why one was so good was because he was in it too, and he
mm-hmm.
was like the lead actor driving the force of the film. Has nothing to do with male or female. I'm just stating, how I viewed the project, and it just didn't seem. It just seemed like there was just way too much going on, you
Yeah.
know.
That's what I felt. I felt like it was a lot of things, a lot of nonsense. It just wasn't. It wasn't enjoyable for me to watch as me being a fan of film.
Yeah.
And I don't like. I don't expect a lot of these hero movies to be fucking Academy Award movies.
Sure. But at least be fun. And
Yeah, like be good,
yeah,
be
yes.
kind of entertaining, be brass. Don't make me be like, huh? What? What is she talking? Why is he doing that? Now he's the fucking wishing thing. Not now. He's doing the wishing thing, but I thought you had to touch them in order
Mhm.
to grant them the wishes. Oh, but now he could just do it on TV. He can go live over the air, and then people are just wishing for things. Like how did that happen? How did it went from him having to trick you into saying you wish for something and touching you to
Mhm.
only could be on TV through satellite things, through cameras, and then now everybody could get fucking wishes. Like how does those two connect? It was
I'll
just
show you.
weird.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's weird. We could go real quick. Hold on. I'm almost. Yeah, I didn't, I feel really sad because I bought HBO Max. I wanted to support Wonder Woman. I wanted to support a film that was not only led by a female, but also directed by a female. And I have been spending the last few weeks. I watched Justice League. I watched Batman versus Superman. I watched Wonder Woman. I watched Suicide Squad. Like, all failures.
All
All fail.
DC films are trash.
Like,
Besides
I'm really
Wonder
interested,
Woman, the
and
first one.
that was breakthrough. And you could argue that Aquaman changed the
And
landscape a little.
Aquaman was good too. I'll say that.
Fucking entertaining, right? I just finished rewatching. It's called the Ultimate Edition, Batman versus Superman. I thought that was much better, but you know how long that film was?
Like
The
4 hours,
Ultimate
I bet.
3 hours. That was a long fucking time. Okay, you should not take 3 hours to tell me that the movie's awesome.
Yep.
The movie should be dope. You know who makes dope movies? Deadpool. 90 minutes. Fire.
Yep.
Great soundtrack. Everybody gets kicked in the ass. We have a little love scene. The end. Right? When you look at it now, like, now we're waiting for the new Justice League. I think if they fuck that up, DC should just pack it up.
For sure. Because then you like with the Justice League, you didn't develop any of the characters the way the Avengers did.
Right, exactly. I think that they were having a hard time with that. And me and my wife, we watched a little bit of it, and this is what we talked about. It's hard to find a Robert Downey Jr.
Oh,
And without Robert Downey Jr., Marvel would not be where they're at. And no offense, Ben Affleck, You know Robert Downey Jr.
Nope.
So if Robert Downey Jr. is the if Ben Affleck is the Robert Downey Jr. of this universe, they're doomed.
Yep. I could agree
Because
with that.
how you gonna get this guy to tie in all of these storylines when most people don't even like really dig?
See, if DC was smart, right? What I would have went to Christopher Nolan and said, "Here's a blank check."
Right. Well, they did that. They did it. The first 3 and Superman, Man of Steel, phenomenal.
Exactly.
The moment that Nolan bounced, trash.
Exactly. I would have went to him or his team or be like, "Yo, here's a blank check. I need you to revamp our DC department. Hook a brother up. Hook us up."
I think that's their biggest problem. I think the great thing about Marvel is Kevin Feige.
Yep. He's
been in charge for like 20 years. He got it. We got the system down. You can't keep fucking getting new producers and new directors and new actors and new. It's like the same thing about a football team, right?
Yep.
Steelers, 3 coaches.
That's it.
5 championships. Browns, 95, 0. Just to put it. Same thing as DC. DC's had how many versions in this? But for whatever reason, they can tell fantastic stories on TV.
Yep.
They can't figure out how to tell a fantastic story in a movie. They have not dialed that in. And Marvel's the opposite. Marvel cannot tell you a phenomenal story on TV, but when it comes to a film, nail it. Well, we have a lot of work. We had a great time, bro. Thank you so much. What were some of the comments that we had? Anybody talking shit? Because I was getting blown up.
Tim Poulin, he wrote, Death Knot, I think it was in the beginning.
Okay, cool.
People stepped into weapons and took selfies with rioters. If black people did the same thing, the White House would have been red. For the most part, that's it. We have 6 people watching. I want to say thank you guys for everybody for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for us. Follow us on all social media. I just want to thank everybody for taking the time to hang out with us and listen to what I have to say. I appreciate your time.
And we're switching gears, guys. We're not doing Friday Live. We're doing Thursday Live to give us more of an opportunity to provide more content for you guys. Thank you so much for taking time to listen to us. Hollow, thanks for hanging and putting this show on for us. I appreciate you, bro. And we'll talk soon.
For sure. Big things 2021 coming for us.
Let's go, baby.
Big things.
Anything's got to be better than Wonder Woman.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
All right, peace.